up and running now. Yep, looks like we're doing A-okay. All right, let me check my volume here real quick. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, sounds good. All right, cool. Hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them online. We publish them on DMsGuild. Here we go. I've been building 5th edition stuff for the past 7 years. This is the first adventure I've actually created. Eberron's been my home campaign since about 2004. 3rd edition, I didn't really play much 4th edition, but I did play Cypher System during 4th edition, and I played Eberron in Cypher System, and then 5th edition back in Eberron. So it's my native home setting as a DM for God knows how long. Well, since 2004. There you go. So creating our first adventure, Crystals of Mabar. It's in Carnwood. For levels characters 7 and 8, fighting undead. Give me a second here. I want to fudge my volume a little bit more. When this is done, it'll be on the DMsGuild, but we got to build all the assets and get the book built. If you check out my Spelljammer art stream, we basically built a book for Spelljammer and published on DMsGuild as well. So you can actually, if you're interested, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when I'm live in the future. I'm here 10 times per week, Monday through Friday in the mornings, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at lunchtimes, including today. As well as Mondays and Thursday nights, including last night. So we're building different things for players and DMs alike. So you can catch the full playlist here of all previous 226 episodes. And here's the Spelljammer book that just came out. Here's all the color, the Magic the Gathering color, 5-color magic system that I built for spellcasting in 5th edition. And so let's just keep after this. So this is Solzu. He is the NPC necromancer, member of the Cult of the Emerald Claw. The Crystal of Mabar. Crystals of Mabar is the substance. How to say. The adventure is about the Emerald Claw using an artifact called the Eye of Mabar in the Carnwood to they're using the artifact with a ritual to create and sustain an artificial manifest zone in that connects to the plane of Mabar. And the fallout from doing this is causing the Carnwood environment where the ritual is taking place to be terraformed into the plane of Mabar. So all the crystal, all the soil and plant life and creatures that are inside of the manifest zone in the Carnwood are being adversely affected by the energies from Mabar. The terraforming effect that the manifest zone has basically takes the life out of the soil and liquefies and rots all vegetation, and it causes lesions and boils on flesh, and when it kills you, you automatically raise as an independent undead. So lots of trouble to be had there, and the character's job is to stop it, of course. So you gotta go fight cultists to end the ritual and free the land of the Blight. So right now I am working on crafting this is Solzu. He is the ringleader of the Cult of the Emerald Claw that's involved, the cultists that are involved in the adventure. But he's not really someone that the players are going to engage with because he is trapped inside of the ritual. If he stops it, it destroys him. If he keeps it up, it eventually destroys him anyway. He's becoming very aware of this and is pretty cranky about it. But his teammates don't like him, so they're letting him die. It's classic backstabby stuff. But it basically means that the players don't mess with this guy at all. He's going to get killed pretty much when the team shows up to start messing around. Let's do probably something like this. I think I want to cut that out. The artifact is called the Eye of Mabar. It is basically constructed out of native material on the from Mabar, so it's attuned to that plane. I'm trying to. Feels about right like this. So I'm gonna have to change his posture. Put his hands around it like that. Grab both of these things. Let's zoom in a bit so I don't have to worry about the rest of his body so much. Limit the scope of what we're actually depicting, so I don't have to worry about extraneous details that really aren't important. Seagull says hello. Hello, Seagull. Looks like it's a dry morning here in Seattle. Should be like that. Let's see. That means I want to have his shoulders like this. Clavicles, pectoral, merge down. I can roll his shoulders forward a little bit. His body like that a little bit, get him a bit of a hunch going. It seems to be the proper way. So it's a little too there. It seems about right. Grab that, pull that around like there. No, we should have it reached up like that. What a fool. Thinking he could master the power of Mabar. For his hubris, it will kill him, drain him of his life, and create a new master in its form. It's called the Eye of Mabar because it kind of looks like an eye. Hey Dennis, how you doing? Oh, he's dead. He's very, very dead. It's a shame he seems interesting because you're not going to have much opportunity to actually interact with him because he is absolutely fucked. This ritual drains hit dice and he's almost out. He can keep the ritual going by sacrificing other people to it. Other sentient creatures, he can sacrifice their hit dice instead of his own to sustain the ritual. But his teammates are being kind of lazy about feeding more hit dice. So it's causing him to slowly get killed. And they're fine with that because they're jerks, basically. So this guy got the thing up and running, but he didn't pick good partners. So is going to get him killed. He's realizing this. He's not happy about it. But what else is he going to do? I'm going to keep that face because I like that face. But I think the rest of the frame is open to interpretation. I think the pose is a little off. Talk to. I don't need this here currently. Let's get that out of the way. So, talk to dead. I mean, he could, I guess. I was just talking about it. He's performing this ritual, and the ritual sustains an artificial manifest zone to the plane of Mabar. The longer the portal stays, the manifest zone remains active. Eventually, it becomes permanent, which is what they want, because then they can use it to harvest material from the plane of Mabar to use as magic components and stuff. So there's a lot of value in being able to have control of a Mabar manifest zone. The only problem is the plane is evil. It's just pure evil. So it's you're gonna fuck around and find out, and that's what Solzu's currently got going on here. Is he is finding out how bad news this place really is. Let's see. His ear is off. Should be up here. Maybe not like that. But the top of your ear is basically parallel with your eye. And the bottom of the ear is parallel with your nose. Out. Let's get the actual eye in perspective here. All pit of pain. spoiler alert, what'll end up happening is the ritual will turn on Solzu, drain him of his life, and however much energy it can collect from the performer of the ritual will create a Yugoloth, and the Yugoloth will then be able to be in command of the manifest zone. And so the DM can pull levers on what kind of Yugoloth gets created as a result of the ritual, based on how powerful the team is at the time. If their asses are absolutely kicked, make a lower level, make a low level Yugoloth. If the team is proving to be ultra powerful, give them an Ultraloth, or anything in between, like Arcanoloth or I forget the different types of Yugoloths, but we're gonna have to make some of them. The eye is absorbed into the body and becomes the face of the Yugoloth that gets created. Feels pretty good. Now that we're restructuring this, we can collapse Solzu in on himself. There, that's looking much, much better. Head feels a little large still. I want to bring that down a bit. There, finally getting proper sized. Now everything's flowing together really nicely. Sit here like that. Yeah. Focusing on what's important. That's about where his arm would be here. Angle like that. Hands. Hands. Line that up. There we go. The idea here is that each of the 13 planes has an artifact that is created from the plane that can be used to create artificial manifest zones. And of course, Karnath has their hands on the one from Abar, but I'm not really strong on the different names of the Eberron planes, to be honest. In my own homebrew campaign, I used the Great Wheel as the primary multiverse approach to, even though Eberron has its own custom planes. I generally tie this all into like Hades and Gehenna and Archaon, stuff like that, instead of leaning into the unique planes of existence that orbit around Eberron. They don't not exist, it's just they're satellites. Like, to me, they're subplanes that tie into the larger Great Wheel architecture of the multiverse. Like, the plane of Abar would be something that filters energy from the negative plane of energy plus, what is it, Gehenna. So it's an undead hellscape, like, literally. And Abar gathers those, like is basically a collection of those different two planes merging together to create an aspect of life, or in this case, death, in Eberron. It's not canon with a K, as it were, but it was a means for me to scratch my my planescape itch that I constantly have, plus the how much I enjoy the setting of Eberron in general. I don't think I need to take this much further than that. It doesn't have as much haunch as I want. That's feeling pretty good. Yeah, dude, you are doomed. That's about what it is that we're looking at here. I'm gonna put his hand up top, just to give a sense of positioning here. That's not bad. I'm gonna leave that sketch like that. So let's do the Houndsman next. Houndsman is basically an evil Beastmaster Ranger that has a pack of Shadow Mastiffs that follow him around. His companion is a Shadow Mastiff, and that Shadow Mastiff is the alpha of a pack of other Shadow Mastiffs. So he basically has a pack of Shadow Mastiffs as his animal companion TM. I haven't really thought through who this is. I haven't depicted him yet. So I'm just doing rough sketches for all the characters, and then I'm going back through and I'm doing cleanup to have good lines, and then we sweep through again and do color art inside of that. So if I can keep moving from piece to piece and let them ruminate a little bit, so when I go back through to clean up the art, I can work out all the specific details. Houndsman's not that important. I want to scale him back so you can see more of him. Sard. Do I have a timer going? Science point to no. I do not have a timer going. I need a timer. Bam. 20 minutes on the block. There we go. Kind of want to give him hounds. Buckethead. What the fuck? Get out of here. Stupid bullshit. Let's whoop. I like that angle. I'm gonna keep that. Shadow puppy. Transform. Well, too close. Make that a bit bigger. Bring his bucket head down a bit. Merge down. There, Houndsman. That'll be decent. It's making sketches here. H-I. C for Captain Carl. E for Emerald Claw. Fine, the Houndsman. I guess that counts. Karen. A-C-E-I-L-R-S-T. Karen the Enchanter. Because Karen's a bitch. Karen's the one that's letting Sozu's eye. The Houndsman has a total crush on Karen. So he's going to let her just basically do whatever she wants. And she wants to kill Sozu and take control of the ritual after he dies. Him having done most of the work, her stepping in to take control. If her timing's not off, she's just going to get eaten by a Ugoloth. It ain't that setting. Fitting. If the team breaks in and interrupts the ritual, Sozu will die, and you'll have to deal with both Karen and the Houndsman and the Ugoloth that's being created from the ritual. So you'll have a triple threat there, plus any incidental mob stuff like Shadow Mastiffs or Emerald Claw add-ons that you want to toss in to buff up the numbers. So you can either have Karen trying to take control and getting screwed over by it, so there's just the Houndsman, or you have both Karen and the Houndsman and an Ugoloth you deal with. The Ugoloth could have killed everybody that's in the room already, so you get there after the slaughter has already begun, and so the team breaks in right as the leaders of the Emerald Claw are being killed off by the Ugoloth, and now the team has to deal with the Ugoloth directly. Or you could potentially stop the ritual before it gets completed, or Ugoloth manifests. There's a couple different levers you can pull on the timing depending on how much the team can take on. If the team is pretty beaten up, then all the leaders can all be dead, and all they have to deal with is a mid or low level Ugoloth. At the same time, the Ugoloth could just leave and go deeper into Mabar, and the manifest zone collapses behind it. If the ritual doesn't like complete, it'll create a lesser Ugoloth, and the manifest zone will collapse, and the eye disappears. If it completes, then the manifest zone permanizes, the Ugoloth stays and starts to push out of the manifest zone to take over the world, which you'll have to defeat it. So if your team is strong, you can deal with that. If you want to make an extended campaign, the Ugoloth can escape and then come back for vengeance. But right now, we want to create Karen. So once the ritual starts going, Karen is basically in control or in charge. So she's a psychopath. So she's more than happy to go out and collect villagers to feed this ritual. Frame. No, I'm not liking that pose very much. Let's try something different. Let's see. Where's this going? I kind of like the energy I'm seeing here. Well, that's a fun little... I'm liking how that moves. Zoom in a bit more. The more you zoom into the face, the more significant they become as an NPC. Generally, the more opportunity there is to engage with them in conversation. So I'm not doing a full body shot here because I don't expect much conversation to be happening between Karen and the team. Like Captain Carl is by far the closest, the most close up in the of all the NPCs, because he is the one that I would expect the players to potentially engage in dialogue with the most, because you got to get him on board helping you if you want to keep the mercenaries from attacking the team. I like that. I think that gesture overall works pretty well. I think I want a kind of a Kirsten Cinema look to her. I think that'd be the best way to express this character. I'm killing that hip energy. I like that. Let me bring that back. Tilt in. Something like that. That feels right-ish. I'm gonna put a lock on you as well. J-K-L. Animated safe looks pretty good. This is where they keep their spell books and the teleportation crystals that the team can crack open, but if they aren't successful in opening it, the safe animates and tries to run away to go find Solzu. So they have to basically wrestle a construct to the ground. It's only a few 100 pounds. Here we have Captain Carl. I think I want to work on him a little bit more now. Let's duplicate that. Of all the NPCs in the adventure, Carl is the most important for the team to connect with if they want to reduce the amount of combat and trouble that they have for themselves during the course of the adventure. Put my hands on the hips. Like that. There we go. Matching plates. Hey, Tex, what's up? Hey, Nitros. This is Captain Carl. Leader of the Red Wolf Mercenaries. Tap to restart. Good. Yeah, we got some time. Come sit next to me, you fine fellow. Straighten those ears out. Nitro Man, I am looking forward to Saturday. I think we're going to have some fun. For those that don't know, Nitro is part of my playtest team, testing martial powers at 3rd level. That's going to be off screen. That's happening on my Saturdays for the next few months. I'm not liking where this is going at all. I take that back. I immediately regret my decision. Let's try that again. Right, for no one is. Excellent. Yeah, we'll give him a little wolf, like a little wolf badge. It'll change the dynamic a little bit. Like if they have their if the team spots the Red Wolf emblem and like their like if they have the military, the veteran background, the veteran can identify different military and mercenary organizations as part of their background feature, so they'll get an immediate bead on who Red Wolves are. So there's a little blurb about who they were and what they're doing here. And so if someone has that background or is able to make like I guess a really high relevant history check, they'll be able to know or have heard of red wolves and know that they were basically like recon scouts and a mix of military police and reconnaissance teams during the last war. So they're well organized to do this kind of a gig where they're doing recon and policing of a region. So it's the right military group to have recruited out of the war to assist in this operation. The only problem is that they didn't get all the details from Solzu and his Emerald Claw minions. Otherwise, they probably would have said no thanks. But they kind of got duped into it, so now they're looking for an exit strategy to be able to get out of this arrangement without looking like their main concern is not looking like they'll run if there's problems, because that's going to kill their reputation as a new adventuring guild, and it'll tarnish the name of the regiment from the last war. So they don't want to do that. So they're trying to find an exit strategy that's going to allow them to minimize their losses while preserving their reputation. So they are if the team comes in under the either deceiving or legitimately deputized by the region's sheriff, then the Red Wolves are more than happy to comply. Like, we didn't know, we thought this was a sanctioned activity, but yeah, something is going really, really wrong. And he is not in favor of collecting hostages. That's what the Emerald Claw is actually doing. The Emerald Claw is actually going out and collecting sacrifices. That's beyond the. Karen is well aware that is beyond the scope of contract that they have with these Red Wolves. So she doesn't want to breach contract with them to give them a reason to leave. So she's having her Emerald Claw minions go out and do the kidnapping, and these guys are just just maintaining perimeter and keeping people away, which then allows the Emerald Claw to go hunt them down and collect them. I saw the most recent Roadhouse. They redid Roadhouse. I don't remember the name of the guy that's in it, but it's a really fun movie now. It was released this year. I think it's on HBO right now. But it's so funny. It's Roadhouse, right? It's in Florida. There's a bunch of there's a pub called the Roadhouse. There's lots of bar fighting that happens there. There's a silly villainous plot that goes along with it that motivates bad guys attacking the place. And I bring it up because one of the minions in the gang, the hoodlums that are supposed to be harassing the employees of the Roadhouse, he's just a derpy NPC bystander sort of character, and that he's like working with this gang. He's a member of this gang, but it seems like he's just kind of there because he didn't have any other direction. He's overly honest. He gives too much information. He's quick to turn and help the hero because he doesn't want to get beat up again, because he got beat up once, and so he doesn't want to fight the hero anymore. So the hero easily intimidates him into giving him information often. but he doesn't get hurt. He's just a liability to the enemies throughout the adventure, and that feels kind of like how the Red Wolves are to the Emerald Claw in this. They're like, these guys are in our employ, but we know we can't push them too far. Otherwise, they're just going to start turning on us, and that's exactly what happens. That's a well built path inside of the adventure that you can get these guys to turn on the Emerald Claw, because once they start putting together the Emerald Claw is kidnapping and sacrificing people, they're like, that's a war crime, dude. We can't condone that, but at the same time, if they back out of a contract, even if it was for legitimate reasons, a lot of times the reason you're hiring mercenaries is because you have very illegitimate activities that you're attempting to perform. So they're playing in this moral ambiguous space that as people, they start to recognize where too far is too fucking far. But as a business, they have to be very, very careful about how they negotiate this. Carl's thinking from the business perspective, but more and more of his troops are thinking from the human side of it, and it becomes an issue. It becomes an issue that the team can easily exploit into getting allies or creating a neutral party out of the Red Wolves. Depending on how the party deals with them as they come up. Oh man, I'm not liking where this is at. Definitely don't like that. It's too passive. And I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this frame around him. So I'm gonna pull it away. Good. This guy's starting to look pretty good. His head's too big for the body. I'm making big heads these days. What is up with that? looks pretty good. All right, I'm happy with that, and let's. Don't want to mess with the resolution at all. I want an emotive stance, but I also want a neutral stance. Too much of an action pose makes him look like a threat. And I want to de-emphasize the threat that he poses. So the gestures and the pose, the attitude of the body goes a long way to framing what kind of encounters are expected with him. So I want an authoritarian stance without being threatening. So the hands on the hip, I think, is a good approach, where he's indicating control and discernment, which is a sort of conversation I want. We're defaulting with this NPC, so I want his body gesture to reflect that role that he's being presented as. The philosophy behind the adventure, some of the design philosophies that go into this, is that you can, with perhaps a little effort, the DM can allow a team to move through the entire adventure using only social encounters, exploration encounters, or combat encounters to be able to resolve the entire narrative of the adventure. So, and that a lot, and I've talked about this before, but it's I think it's fun. Knowing when you design an adventure, if you can build it out so that it only serves one pillar of adventure throughout the all the beats of the internal story, and then that gives the DM the authority and information that they need to be able to switch between which pillars they're working at any time. If the team is beat up and you don't think they can necessarily take on another combat encounter, then downshifting the action to be exploration or social allows them to get to a point, to hit the plot point that you want without necessarily getting them killed as a result of it. And if, like, you're doing social stuff, you can resolve that stuff during a short rest. It's like they can be talking with Carl and negotiating with the mercenaries while a short rest is happening. I as a DM, I like subsuming short rest activity, short rests inside of low effort activity. If you're studying, that's a short rest. If you're talking to somebody, that can be treated as a short rest. If you're walking from here to there and you're not running there, that can be treated as a short rest. Anytime the team has a chance to take a breather, reassess themselves, and reset, that to me feels like an opportunity for a short rest instead of like sitting down and like literally resting. It's different from that. It's being able to take a breath. Like looting corpses, that can be done during short rest. Salvaging materials off of a body, or like investigating a room, that can be part of a short rest, as long as the team isn't actively threatened while they're dealing with whatever activity it is that they're going about, the task that they're performing. That can be subsumed into a short rest. I know that's not necessarily rules as written, but that builds in breathing space, and it teaches your team to explore, like literally explore, like exploration pillar, but to look for solutions and explore ideas that aren't necessarily combat focused, so they can build that breather into the adventure themselves. Like, hey, we want to take a short rest, and while we're doing that, can we X, Y, and Z? It's like, yeah, that's a great idea. Why don't you do that? I'll give you your short rest. That way you can be a little vague about how long is your short rest actually lasting. Like, some people are like, I like my short rest to last 10 minutes, or other people are hard-nosed, like it takes an hour. But when you're pacing through an adventure, that timing might not make sense in either way. It's like, what light tasks can you get the team to perform that allows you to cheat a short rest in? And they'll quickly get, this is a means for us to continue doing productive stuff and regaining resources for combat later on. So once you get your team kind of in that mindset with you, it's easy to get them to be able to like have that cadence of combat, combat, take a breather, combat, combat, take a breather, combat, combat, take a breather. So you're building that tempo where they're able to get their rests in during the course of a day without wasting their time. So I think that's the biggest reason I think teams don't take short rests is because they feel like they're falling behind, or they're in a threatened space that they can't literally rest. So it's just a matter of reframing the narrative behind what you're doing mechanically. That looks pretty good. Now we can start building a collar. It's autumn, so the temperature's not too hot, so them kicking around in armor is sensible and warming. I like how second and third edition kind of leaned into the idea of wearing armor is hot, and so depending on this, like in the what was it, the Wilderness Survival Guide from first edition, or was it second? Let's assume first edition. AD&D, actual AD&D. It has conversations about using the temperature to control what sort of armor characters are willing to wear. Like if it's summertime, wearing plate mail is going to kill you. So your characters can't effectively run around outdoors in 100-degree weather while wearing full plate all day. They're going to have to limit their ability to wear that shit. Which helps reinforce the idea of having like a dungeon front camp. Like you're not going to wear full plate on your march to the dungeon using that level of weather survivability. Like you'll be in light leather, like maybe studded leather on the way to the dungeon, and once you get there, then you can don all your armor and then go down into the dungeon where it's going to be supposedly cooler and more not humid. I don't know the word. Humid sounds like hot. It's the opposite of hot. It's like cold but wet, you know? I guess humidity is accurate. But it's low pressure. feels good. Yeah, it feels right. I want to give him plate and half chain. Half plate and chain, thank you. I believe is generally expressed as breastplate armor. So this is where something like that. Again, I want to make sure I'm emphasizing rib cage, elbow, arm. It's too small. Rather, head is too big. Bring that down just a couple ticks. That'll do. Center point. Body. Hips. see. Feels undersized, so maybe I need to pull that frame in a bit. Let's do the old flipperoo. Free transform. Flip horizontal. Transform, skew. Now we're starting to, I think, line up. That feels pretty good. Yeah, I like how that's fitting inside the space. Can afford to be out a little bit further like that. Yeah, I like that. That feels really, really good. We can do the same here. Almost right. How are we looking on time? 7:50. Okay, we're coming along. Not bad. This is shaping up pretty nicely. I'm liking this. Merge down. Buckle. This arm's a little too bulky. think I'm gonna have to cut it there. I'm down to just a few minutes. So it's 7:52 here in Seattle. I'm gonna go ahead and call this pause for now. I'm liking how we're sitting though. That's the appropriate gesture with authority that I wanted to have coming off of this character. So I just gotta mess around with the anatomy a little bit more, just make sure it straightens up. This is about where I wanted to be. I'm gonna be back on. What is it? 8 o'clock. I'm gonna be back on in about 5.5 hours, like around 1:30 here in the afternoon in Seattle. That'll be my lunchtime. We're gonna continue working on martial powers. There will be some spoilers for playtesters, but I don't care. We're just there to throw dice around and cause trouble. I don't care if you guys know what the plot is. So anyone's welcome to show up. But I'm just going to be doing DM prep work for the upcoming playtest. We're going to be using the scaling 5-room dungeon approach to creating points of interest inside of the tile that they're exploring for the next few sessions. And so if this stuff is interesting to you, if you like the art or you like the ideas, be welcome to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. We're here 10 times per week, Monday through Friday in the morning, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at lunch times, including today. And then typically we're on Mondays and Thursday nights as well to do Spelljammer art. And then Saturday's my playtest. So, that's where we're at today, guys. I will catch you hopefully in the future. See y'all then. Laters.